Alrighty, welcome back to the J Center podcast. Owen Hill joined, as always, by Jesse Burrell. Jesse, just disappointing. Jays lose 2 of 3 to the Royals. We get through this really hard portion of the schedule. The team's actually playing probably better than they have all season. They've won 7 out of 8 series heading into this easier stretch. And the Kansas City Royals come to town and kind of just thoroughly beat, maybe isn't even like a strong enough word, embarrass you maybe on your home turf in front of 40,000 fans a night. Just sold out Rogers Center, and really frustrating, disappointing just way to show up. And yeah, man, it's feeling dark.
Oh, and boo birds. I heard loud boo birds from the Toronto Blue Jays fans at the Rogers Center. They've been sprinkled throughout the season. Like Jeff Hoffman was booed, Brendan Little was booed, but these were some bad ones. And, we're fed up on this podcast. Blue Jays fans everywhere are starting to get very fed up with the product they've been seeing on the field lately.
Man, 40,000 a night all season. This team was in the World Series last year. This fan base was just ready to ride the wave all goddamn summer. And the team is, what are they now after tonight's game? They are going to be 5 full games under 500, 3.5 games out of the last wild card spot. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has his weighted runs created plus on the season now at 94, 6 points below average. Jamison Taillon is like not even on this roster anymore. Like Spencer Arrighetti's starting baseball games for you, and then Michael Lorezen is coming in, and Simeon Richardson. All 3 of those guys. I don't know why I said Jamison Taillon to start that rant. Just because he's in that basket of just random guys that have contributed to this team. Like that's where we're at, and obviously you lost 13-2, or yeah.
Yeah, let's not take into effect Vlad has 2 RBIs in his last 20 games, and John Schneider's not moving him down in the order, no matter how much we think he should and whatnot. So there's.
Do you really think he should? Does it matter?
Who else are you putting up there, right?
Yeah, dude. Like everyone's like, oh, in 2022 he moved Bo down. In 2022, you had I think Alejandro Kirk is your highest weighted runs created plus hitter this season. He'd be like the 7th best hitter on that team.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not trying. Are you really trying to get Daz Cameron more at bats up there?
I'm certainly not.
I don't know. Maybe Kirk in the 2 hole because he's your best hitter right now. Either way, moving Vlad down or moving somebody into that spot isn't going to help the offense going. It's just going to show that there have been more issues than just these random blurbs of pitchers we've gotten coming onto the year. It's been the offense that is dreadful. Noah Cameron, great pitcher, hell of a job. Really shut down the Blue Jays today with some uncompetitive at-bats, and it was just an awful showing from the Toronto Blue Jays at really the time. What did John Schneider say last week? It's go time, it's pressure time, something like that. Like there is no slow time anymore. The Blue Jays quit on the field here today, and that was very unfortunate.
I want to chalk it up to just you're facing a hot team. And you're facing a really hot. The Kansas City Royals have won 8 in a row coming into this. They beat you in game 1, make it 9. Like they're on fire, and you slam the door with the bullpen day in game 2 of the series, and then you kind of see the ugly effects of that in the next game. And it's the fact that it's Spencer Arrighetti, Simeon Richardson, and Michael Lorezen is a Blue Jay now, pitching in his Vans, and he's a cool dude, I guess, sort of like whenever a guy gets DFA'd by the Rockies, I think I really want my team to pick him up. That's just where we're at, man. It's no disrespect, man. I'm glad he's going to come out here and do it. But genuinely, anybody with a pulse and a right arm can pitch for the Toronto Blue Jays right now. And it sucks.
Yeah, if you're between the ages of 18 and 50 and can throw at least 85, you're needed at one Blue Jays way. Get in line. You can probably get a good shot at pitching in the next bullpen day for the Toronto Blue Jays. Big picture, Owen, while we're on it. Yes, this series loss to the Kansas City Royals at home does suck. It does not feel good. And you're at the point now in the season where in order to realistically make that last wild card spot, you would have had to gone 20-10 in your last 30 games. So losing this series means you're going to have to find a sweep somewhere in this next few weeks, whether it's the Royals and Kaufman, whether it's Seattle, whether it's Cleveland or Baltimore, all teams you've got up. You have to find a way to sweep. And not only that, you have to find a way to win 2 out of 3 in almost every series, like the Blue Jays just did for that stretch where they had won 6 straight series in a row. They got to find a way to play like that again, as well as getting some sweeps in there. And Owen, frankly, nothing have I seen from this Toronto Blue Jays team makes me believe that they can go on a type of run like that.
No, they don't score any runs. The offense is
Yeah.
pathetic. Like just
Mhm.
the entire approach from the team. Like Noah Cameron's a good pitcher, but you made him look like he's a really good pitcher, and like he was like cutting through your lineup like a hot knife through butter, man. It was not fun to watch if you're a Blue Jays fan on the Blue Jays fan side of things. And like every fifth day, Dylan Cease is going to give you a really good shot. But other than that, like your
Mhm.
rotation is just on fumes. Like just everybody's hurt. We haven't mentioned Shane Bieber goes to the IL with a shoulder issue. Just the injuries for this team continue to just astound me how this can continue happening. And you're really good in these bullpen days when you can kind of have
Yep.
everybody who's fresh and they can come out and like pitch really strong and they all do it together as a team. And then the next day, everybody's gassed because it took the entire bullpen to get through that game. And you kind of see the negative effects of that a day later, 2 days later. Like, who's going to pitch tomorrow on Friday against the Mariners? I have no idea, Jesse.
Well, Dylan Cease is going tomorrow,
Yeah.
so I assume you're chalking him up for 7 innings, probably. But look, Dylan
No.
Cease has had those games where he's thrown a lot of pitches in through 5. It would surprise nobody if that's what happens again there. I had actually thought the Blue Jays had lined themselves up pretty decently to get a good chance to win in the finale here. Simeon Richardson, who had been the bulk guy, who had been very good all season, unfortunately had all the regression hit him at once in the finale here to get those season lines looking pretty disgusting now for his tenure with the Blue Jays. But still,
Mhm.
like, you had Braden Fisher available that gave you some leverage. Louis Varland, even though he just got a 4-out save the inning before, was probably available to pitch here again. Like, you had the blueprint mapped out. But Spencer Arrighetti ran into a lot of trouble in the first, was able to settle down. You had to bring in a guy like Michael Lorezen because you had to send Chad Dallas down because you needed a fresh arm in here. I thought it was going to be okay. It's just sometimes the thing with those bullpen days is sometimes everybody's got to have it. And in the finale, at least, not everybody had it.
Yeah, it works in the playoffs, I think, maybe better
Yeah.
than it does in the regular season because, like in the playoffs, you don't necessarily have a game tomorrow. You just
Yeah.
got to
More
get through
off
this
days.
one tonight. You get way more off days, and the game in front of you means a lot more. As much
Mhm.
as like it has been full send kind of lately for the Blue Jays, and like we're just going to do everything we can to win the baseball game that is right in front of us. Sometimes it's not sustainable over 162. And when you're in the dog days of August, we're at the very end of this month. We got 1 month left to play. These guys have a lot of baseball under their belts this season. And you have a lot of guys in that bullpen who have been at the top of that like reliever appearance, just pitcher
Mhm.
appearance leaderboard for most of the season. I'm looking at your Mason Fluharty, who I think is probably still at the top there. Tyler Rogers pitches just as
Yeah.
much as anybody. Louis Varland, same deal. Spencer Miles came in with 14 professional innings and is over 80 now this season. Like
Yeah.
it's just like up and down the list, and you're optioning somebody else to get a fresh arm in here every day. And the roster churn is ridiculous. And it feels like it's catching up to the Jays, and like losing 2 or 3 in a series over 162 when you play however many of those, it shouldn't feel this bad, but it's just like it feels like kind of a lot of air just left the balloon right now. It feels like the balloon kind of popped on this season in this series.
Yeah, and this is kind of more bullpen specific instead of the broader point you just made, but you talked about maybe the bullpen is getting overworked. Oh, and I think we are starting to see some signs from those guys that have pitched a lot. Mason Fluharty has like 2 strikeouts in his last 2 weeks. That's kind of a low number for him, so he hasn't been getting that swing and miss what you want. We've seen Louis Varland oddly hittable. Like he's still not giving up runs and he's still nailing the job, but we're seeing a lot more doubles off Louis Varland. Tyler Rogers has now had back-to-back starts with earned runs come across on him. So you're starting to see some cracks from these guys that have been so dominant all year. I think that is a sign of overworked. Usage has gone way too high, and it's starting to show here.
Totally agree, man. I think like it's also like forget about just how much they've had to pitch. It's like the stress on those innings too.
Yeah.
Like every time they pitch, it's a 1 run, 2 run game. Like if they come in with a lead, it's not a big lead because the team only scores 3 or 4 runs a night if they have a good offensive performance. And
Mhm.
if they're like in the game, it's because they're only down 1 run because like the starter did a good job to keep the team in the game, but the offense is like just unable to scratch runs across the board. Like they can't even scratch runs across the board. Forget about hitting home runs. And it's I think as like the bullpen's not the issue here, and
Correct.
it's always gonna come right back around to the offense. And like how in 2027 are you gonna figure out how to score runs?
Well, the plan that the Blue Jays kind of had in place this year was they're going to scrap, they're going to claw, they're going to do the small things right. And if they're not going to hit for power, which, low hanging fruit, as Ross Atkins once said, it's like if it's not going to be power, then you have to hit with runners in scoring position in order to score your runs. And when the Blue Jays aren't doing that either. 1 for 11 in game 1 with runners in scoring position, and that runner immediately got tagged out at second base. Game 2, it was just 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. Nathan Lucas's 3-run homer was the only one there. And today they got a hit with runners in scoring position, but it was an infield single by Ernie Clement that didn't even score the runner. So a lot of times when you're not hitting power and you're getting guys on, but you're not being able to get hits with a run on base is going to lead to a series where you just struggle to score runs. It's a script we've seen all season. We saw it here in this series, and add it all together, and it's a bad baseball product. No wonder the fans are booing this team right now.
Yeah, man. Are they booing the team or are they just booing Vlad?
Yes, to both.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I haven't been in the building in a while. I don't want to spend my hard-earned money on this product, to be honest. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's been 2 months actually since I've been to the Dome. I'm planning to get back one more time in September, but even then, yeah, I haven't given them my money either, which is saying something. And I'm sure a lot of the hardcore fans, like the rest of us, have kind of been staying away a little bit. The only reason this Dome is sold out is because all these people were buying tickets way back from the World Series run, way back when.
Yeah, totally agree. And where do you stand on the booing? Like, does that bother you?
Yeah, John Schneider said post-game that, the fans are absolutely right to boo. They can do what they want if they're unpleased with the product on their field. I don't know. It does irk me the wrong way. It's not like these guys are trying to suck, even though at times it does feel that way, like they're trying to suck on purpose. But, if it's got to hold players accountable, it's got to give them the head a shake, take a look in the mirror, I suppose. But typically by rule of thumb, I don't like booing our own players.
Yeah, but this is like Toronto, man. Like we never do this. I don't know. I agree. I think the goal is for the Blue Jays to win, and I don't think cheering against the Blue Jays. I guess booing is not necessarily cheering against them, but sending negative energy towards your team is not something I typically like to do. Again, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., like he maybe deserves a little bit of that. The fact that like you have, by many metrics, the worst offense in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
You maybe deserve some of that. It's tough, man. I don't know. I don't know if I really even have much else to say, to be honest. Like normally we do these and like I'm like trying to like get all my thoughts in because I've got so much to say about this team, good or bad usually. And I'm like looking at the clock. I'm like, oh no, how am I going to get all of my thoughts in? How am I going to empty the notebook here? We're 13 minutes in and I'm like ready to hang them up. And this is the job. This is like, you got to like go through the good and the bad. But man, nights like these, sometimes the job's not as glorious as it may seem.
So you want to start a Blue Jays podcast, huh? Right? So here you go. But Owen, we're going to have to lock in. We're going to have to you're the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You're going through a slump right now. You have all the talent in the world, except you're going to come through.
Oh, sorry. I already grounded out to second base. Sorry.
Ah, damn it. Boo! I'll get the boo's going here too. At least tell me you swung on a pitch in the strike zone, right?
No,
right?
It wasn't. I got jammed and it still went to second base.
Okay. Well, Owen, you have no more minor league options on your podcasting contract, so we're going to keep you around anyway. Here's a $500 million check or a raise from Jay's Center. Let's get going. For what it's worth, I have a lot of notes in my notebook, and if you want to keep things a little bit light before we really dive into the game by game here, we can celebrate. And these are going to be very pity, Owen, but we can celebrate some very minor things, big picture around the Toronto Blue Jays. Do you have a thought at all about 1 million Looney Dogs? And yes, I am going to Looney Dogs 14 minutes into our episode here after a tough series loss because we need a distraction.
Man, good for the people. 1 million Looney Dogs. Is that all time or this season?
That's this season, and that's a record.
Insane. That's disgusting. It's not even September yet. One or two more left. At least one more left. That's insane. No, I don't have really thoughts on that. I think that's cool. That's what happens. Like that's the kind of numbers you could be putting up when the team is awesome. And as awesome as they were last year, these tickets, as you mentioned, have been sold. And like that just makes me even more upset about this, to be honest, because the fan base is there. Like all we want is to just ride the wave and cheer for this team. And like this city adores this team, man. Like I'll never forget after the Blue Jays clinched the American League Championship Series last October, walking down, I lived like on Yonge Street and walking
Mhm.
down Yonge Street towards the Rogers Center immediately following that game, and just the horns and like just me being joyous and hugging strangers, like genuinely just like the dumbest, biggest smile on all of our faces, and we're like screaming at each other and just laughing and giggling with like people I've never met before, running into people I know, just giving them like just the biggest, dumbest hugs. Somebody I would never even think of hugging like ever, like people not even that I consider friends, or all of a
Mhm.
sudden like we just share this common joy in this baseball team, and it just the way it brought people together made it was something special, and people wanted that again this year. People want that, and they like who can you blame but the players for it not happening? Like I don't know, man. I have no idea. I don't know what went wrong. You can blame the injuries. You can blame just a tough schedule. You can blame them selling their soul for last year. But the fact of the matter is like this is not going to be acceptable going forward. It's just not.
That's the power of sports, and bringing people together like that is so fun and is so incredible. And it makes you feel like, hey, with this, all thing is possible. So that is fantastic. But I agree. And this team probably wasn't as good last year as they ended up ultimately being. This team this year is probably not as bad as they were ultimately being. But the true answer is probably it's somewhere in the middle. And we'll see what that looks like in 2027. But look, you can take this season, which will,
Wait,
unless some,
I hate that take. I hate that take.
hey, okay, what do you hate about it?
Don't take that away from 2025. I don't like that
Sure.
at all, man. Is that not the best baseball team you've had the chance to put your eyes on?
So yes, in theory, I've never watched. I was like 4 months old when the Blue Jays won the World
Yeah.
Series in 1993, so I don't remember that. That was the first time ever I've seen a Blue Jays team have that much success. That has happened. That flag is going to fly in Rogers Center forever. But if you're looking at a under the hood a process thing, the team on paper, their quote unquote true talent probably wasn't as good as the best team in the American League per se,
It's
right?
the
Which is
nerdiest thing I've ever heard,
it is
man.
the
Like
nerdiest
if
thing, and
you
that's why people hate stat nerds too.
yeah, like that when you hear somebody say khakis, like that's what
Yes.
that's why they get mad is because you say stuff
Mhm.
like that, man. That's awful. That's such a bad take on your end, Jesse. I'm sorry. I know
Hey,
I'm giving
man.
you a hard time, but that's so bad because that undersells like just and I'm gonna say the word magic, and you're gonna be like, well, that's proving my point. But the magic that team had, and when a team buys in like that, and like success breeds success, and you become that confident, a team becomes as unstoppable as that 2025 Blue Jays team was. And that's what they had. And I've never had the chance to see anything like that 2025 team. So you saying like maybe they weren't as good as we thought they were, that kind of breaks my heart. I don't think that what's happening in 2026 has anything to do with 2025. I think maybe 2025 is having a negative effect on 2026. Forget about like the emotional side of things. And it's a point I've made before is like the pressure to kind of get back there and like be that World
Mhm.
Series team. You hang a banner, you hang a target was the quote from George Springer. Forget about that side of things, like just the pure amount of baseball. Is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. not healthy this season because of how much baseball he played last year? I don't know.
Potentially.
Did Kevin Gausman suck because he threw more innings than anybody last season and had already thrown a ton of innings under his belt? I don't know. Louis Varland threw more than anybody, and he's been awesome this season. But
Mhm.
did Ernie Clement forget how to play defense because of how much baseball he played and having a short offseason? Like a lot of these guys, Alejandro Kirk got hurt early on, but he really wasn't good for a while, and he came back. His legs seem fresher, and he's all of a sudden back to the guy we know he is. Like I'm not blaming the long run for this season. And I know it's a little bit off topic because I don't know, like you can't even make the excuse because the Dodgers do it every goddamn year and they never seem
Right.
to have problems. They also are able to win 100 games despite having multiple like $100 million players on the shelf for months at a time. But anyways, like it's aside from the point.
Yeah, your feelings are valid, and no one can take away how you felt. I felt fantastic last October too, right? I made that whole point just to come in here to say you should actually feel maybe better about how bad this 2026 season is because this team is better than what they played like. The record is going to be what it is. The bad feelings we're feeling about this season is going to be what it is. Like no one can take that away from you. If anything, that should give you some hope that 2027 is going to be a little better, right? The reason why this probably feels so bad is because last season was such a high, right? That we're getting now that massive crash. If we had this 2026 season following the 2024 season, which was also a big disappointment for the Toronto Blue Jays, it would suck, absolutely. And we'd be frustrated, absolutely. I don't think it would feel as devastating if we didn't have that massive, massive high. in the middle of it.
I would argue it would feel worse, to be honest. I think like when you are a perpetual loser, like think about your friends that are Rockies fans, and
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking in your brain right now, and you don't have one. And that's for a reason, because losing breeds like just more losses. And when you are stuck in that cycle of losing, think about Angels fans and how miserable they all are. When you lose, you start to see, instead of 40,000 a night at the Rogers Center, you're looking at 20, you're looking at 18.
Yeah.
Like I remember as a kid looking at the Rogers Center seats and asking my parents like why they were all empty. And they were empty because the team sucked, man. And yeah, it's frustrating, but at least you got a shot, and at least there's proof of concept that the team can be really goddamn good and as good as any other team in baseball, right? So I don't know. I think because of last year, I'm more encouraged than I was after 2024. I believe in 2027 that the team is going to be good again, because I believe that there are the people in place in the front office to make sure that the team is good, and I believe that there are good players already on the roster. It maybe didn't work out this year.
Yeah, let's hope we can get that season going, and that the off season, which is going to be even more depressing than this podcast episode, can get through with a positive result, and we can get back to playing good, positive baseball in 2027 would be the dream for all parties involved.
Yeah, man. All righty. Ready to take this first break here. You got to we got to do some game by game stuff. Talk about Nathan Lucas's base running errors. Talk about Nathan Lucas's a big home run, and then like we can touch on the finale here. All of that on the other side of this break. Alrighty, back from the break on the Jays Center podcast. Owen Hill and Jesse Burrell sticking with you through a tough episode. Recording these after really frustrating series, and I think this was going to be a frustrating series, kind of no matter what, just based on how they came out in Game 1. But yeah, Jays lose 2-3 to the Royals, including a just meltdown in the finale. Jesse and I are coming to you live. Well, not live, but just after that game concluded, and we have come out hot and depressed.
What a combo, hot and depressed, eh?
Yeah.
Look, we mentioned at the end of our last series of how important it was to get off to a good start against the Angels here. You know, you had Max Scherzer on the bump.
The Royals. Were
facing, yes, Max Scherzer on the bump. Baseball brains got me all messed up here. You know, it's probably being all hot and depressed. But we said it was important to get off to a good start here. And then Max Scherzer comes out on the top of the first and immediately has control problems. Walked 3 in the first. I think he walked 5 total. The Royals ended up getting some runs across, and it was off to a really tough start. Blue Jays ultimately lose that game. I mentioned off the top, 1 for 11 with runners in scoring position had a large part of it. And it was the first time in a long time the Blue Jays had lost back-to-back games. Not the tone you wanted to set coming into what was a big series.
No, not the tone you wanted to set at all, Jesse. It was bad, embarrassing. 10 hits, and like again, it's always going to come back to the runners in scoring position stuff, is it not? Did you pull up the season numbers with RISP yet, or no?
No, but I was already hot and depressed, as we said, and I didn't want to get even more depressed. I know they're not good.
No, dude, they are really, really bad. I'm assuming they're still the worst team in baseball. I'm going to verify that for you right now. If we sort by weighted runs created plus, they are tied for the worst in baseball with the Cincinnati Reds.
Love
at
that
86. The next team is the Kansas City Royals. They are 28th, and that is a team that just crushed you pretty much thoroughly in this series. So
yeah. Kansas City's offense looked okay today, or this series at least. I will give them credit for that. But going back to Game 1, 9 walks for Blue Jays pitchers in this one. Max Scherzer had 5 of them. It was the third most the Blue Jays have had in a start. The other 2, Owen, you might remember, were Trey Savage's start, where he walked 7 in Baltimore, and that was the Washington start.
Right.
I think the bullpen actually pitched okay behind him there, but Kevin Gausman against the Cubs, where he couldn't get out of the first, walked a bunch of the Blue Jays pitchers and watched 11. So bad stuff from them. With Max Scherzer specifically, he had been on a little bit of a run lately. I've noticed a few small things in terms of both stuff plus and location plus. This was his worst start since coming back from the IL. His changeup was going arm side way too much, and the Royals were letting Max get him into his own trouble. The Royals swung less against him than any other team had swung against him at a start all season. And was to the Royals' benefit. So I wonder, coming into next start, Max Scherzer needs to make the adjustment and start attacking the zone a little bit more. What do you see from Scherzer at the start?
Pretty similar to what you
Yeah.
saw. I think the adjustment is just so hard to make because he's a guy that has had to adjust as he's gotten older and older, and he is old as dirt now. And like part of that adjustment has been that he can't work in the zone as much, and he's got to rely more on getting guys to chase outside of the zone and being close to it, but not exactly in it.
Yep.
Watching Max Scherzer in his prime, you would see him throw middle fastballs that dudes would just swing under. Or they'd hit it for a solo home run because nobody else could get on base. But you would see him snap off these sliders that would front hip and end up in the middle of the zone, and dudes just have no idea how to hit that. And he, as he's aged and his stuff has declined, has had to find a way to get guys out in different ways, and that has involved more chase and more contact outside of the zone or on the edges of the zone, in the shadow zone, as they would call it, as the khakis would call it. So that the issue is his stuff is now at a spot where if he's not getting chase outside of the zone and he's not getting weak contact in that shadow zone, he's got to be more towards the middle of the strike zone, and his stuff is not as good. And decline stuff in the middle of the strike zone, we've seen what that looks like, and it looks like home runs. And it's not pretty. So that's just like the issue with what we're dealing with at this point with Scherzer.
Yeah, it's 43-year-old Max Scherzer, whose stuff has been way down from the prime of his career. At this point, that's really all you can hope for. Like any ounce of upside is pretty much gone. And for Max Scherzer to have that, good start, which he, to his credit, he's had over the last little bit, you need to have that perfect location combined with stuff. For what it's worth, the curveball and slider is still getting good whiff numbers. So there is that to his credit too. And he had good ones in this start. And we can kind of rapid fire through the rest of this here, but I wanted to mention two more things that I saw from this game. One, it was good to see Nate Pearson back. I love Nate Pearson. Always will love Nate Pearson. I'm still convinced he's going to be a superstar somewhere, but we saw him back for the Royals. And Jesus Sanchez looked pissed against him. I don't know if you caught this in his third at-bat, but Jesus Sanchez looked visibly angry in this game. Came through. He ended up getting hit by a pitch by Max Scherzer, or not Max Scherzer, by Nate Pearson, and like stared at the mound, give a death stare. I have never seen that from Jesus Sanchez, so I don't know what in the world was going on there. And then I want to talk Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He had that double on the fastball from Pearson, hit it to the right center field gap. Normally, I would say, hey, that's a sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is doing well, but it was a pitch outside of the zone. Again, one that we really don't want him to see him swinging at. Yes, he had a good result. Yes, the double was nice. And then on top of that, too, he had the throwing error at first base. Do you have a thought on any of those two things, Owen?
So it's the contact outside of the zone. I don't mind if you make contact and swing outside of the zone if it is the pitch / location you are looking for. Like if you can hit a ball outside of the zone really hard, you should do it. That's awesome. It's the issue is when it becomes like the pitch outside of the zone that you're not hitting hard and you're getting jammed on and hitting to second base, or you're rolling over, or you're popping up. And these pitches are like, maybe they're strikes, or maybe they're not, but they're not like really mashable pitches, and they're not the pitches you're looking for. You're just looking to rush an outcome and like put the ball in play. So I don't mind it when he does that and he hits the ball hard outside of the zone. Like that's okay. But it's the other at bats that ended up in a 1-for-4, right? So like the other at bats, I didn't see anything else that
did have a lot of fly balls. Did Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He roped one to left field that I thought, hey, might have had a chance, but those are swings I've seen him take on pitches I've seen him hit that just aren't going as far. My first thought, Owen, was, well, the bat speed must be down. It's not. It's right on par with where it's been all season. So he's just missing barrel or something. His swing plane might be a little off. It's worth a deep dive. I haven't done it yet, but it's just not right with Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Oh, he looks like he's just not athletic at all.
Yeah, which is odd. Very odd. Because he came in.
We've seen it before.
Yeah.
We've seen it before where like in 2023, it was not nearly this bad, but he had lost a lot of athleticism compared to 2021. And then he rediscovered it in the second half of 2024. And in 2025, he was awesome. Don't even get me started on how athletic he was looking in the 2025 playoffs. Like, I don't know how it fluctuates this much for him, but yeah.
At age 27 too, which is the prime of most offensive players' career. But anyways, did you have a thought on Nathan Lucas getting thrown out at second base with Vlad, the tying run, who was probably just going to get out anyway, but the tying run coming to the plate? Do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, pathetic base running. Not knowing the situation, like his whole thing is to be the guy that knows the situation, is like the winning player. He's gonna make the right play. He might not always hit the sexy home run, and he might not win you baseball games individually, but he's not gonna hurt you. He's not gonna lose you a game. He's gonna do the little things well. That was a little thing, like knowing the fact that you are not the tying run, so you being in scoring position, with less than 2 out, doesn't necessarily matter. Like, your run doesn't mean anything. It's the guy behind you that means anything. You got to give him a chance. He should know that is getting greedy, going for a double. Like, it makes the stats look a little fatter. I don't know if that's not going through a guy's mind, probably while he's running the bases, but it's just frustrating. Really bad play, and sums up the season pretty well.
Yeah, it's just another example of if something can go bad, it did go bad for the Toronto Blue Jays there. He apologized profusely, I guess, to his teammates and to his coaches. But again, that's something that just shouldn't be happening, period, whatsoever. Glad he made up for it in game two. And Owen, before we get into game two, the game the Blue Jays won in this series, I did want to touch on Shane Bieber. This was supposed to be Shane Bieber's start. We mentioned it off the top that he will be on the IL with right teres inflammation. Your teres, for what it's worth, I did some research on this, is like it's right below your armpit, kind of where your shoulder and your armpit go through. The plan for him was 2 weeks, no throw. His season's not officially done. But Owen, I did some research, and spoiler, I don't think we're going to see Shane Bieber the rest of this season. What are your thoughts before I give you that research there?
I think it's bad. I think you already had nobody to pitch. Like we talked about Max Scherzer and like his effectiveness. It's not even about that anymore. It's about literally just covering the innings. You have to play 27 more baseball games this season, and somebody's going to have to pitch them. Like, the Blue Jays didn't bring in Michael Lorezen because they're like, oh, he thinks there's some sneaky upside here.
Right.
Like, they didn't bring in, like, go all the way back to the start of the season. Patrick Corbin is not here because they thought there was sneaky upside. Simeon Woods Richardson, same deal. Like, they literally just need guys to throw innings. And like, Shane Bieber was at least intriguing because he's a guy that you're looking to like potentially bring back and see if he can offer you something in 2027. But like, you don't even get that opportunity anymore. And that's what's just really frustrating. And if you still wanted to make a run, like, Bieber was like viable, at least, to help you do that. And now that's not even an option. So
yeah, just another shot for this team. The shoulder surgery for him, right teres major. There have only been 4 players in the big leagues that have had this, if you count Bieber. 2 of them are Blue Jays. This is what Jake Bloss has. This is what Patrick Corbin has. Patrick Corbin's on the 60-day. Jake Bloss, I also don't think is going to pitch this year. The other one who has it is Mitch Keller of the Pirates, who also is on the 60-day and is not going to pitch this year. Over the last 3 years, Owen, I looked at all players who have had this thing. Chad Green had this, missed 41 games, and that was the quickest anybody has ever recovered from this. The average time is like 101 days. Hunter Harvey missed 108. Jose Ferrer and Merrill Kelly missed 113. Like, Shane Bieber's season is over. So we're not going to be seeing him again this year.
Don't say that. Like, but with soft tissue stuff, like, you never know. It seems like they caught it at a good time. Like, it's not like he got pulled from his start and it was bugging him while he was throwing. It sounded like it was a like recovery thing, like something that popped up the next day. And that kind of is encouraging to me that like it didn't happen while he was on the mound and when he had his adrenaline pumping. It was something, I think, more of a soreness and more of a strain. So like, if you catch it early enough, you can rest it, you can get some treatment, you can strengthen some stuff around it, and you can work through it. So I'm not ready to call the season over. I think you might be right, but I don't know. Like, there are people way smarter than you and way smarter than me that know a lot more about teres majors. So
sure, you're right. Yeah. I'm famously not a doctor, but history will suggest that the recovery is very, very hard here. Let's get into the game itself. Runners in scoring position, 1 for 5. That one was a 3-run homer by Nathan Lucas, so maybe a little bit of redemption there. It turns out that was all the offense the Blue Jays need as they bullpenned themselves away to another victory. Chad Dallas looked very good in there. What did you see? What did you like from the Blue Jays team here in this game?
I like that they didn't let the other team score any runs. That was cool. I enjoy the bullpen days. I'm willing to accept them being really, really good at them. Like, just a 9-inning shutout is a fun thing to watch when you can see your team do that. Spencer Miles, pretty, like, you feel super good with him on the mound. I really like Spencer Miles. I think you can talk about him being a starter next year. He's at least going to be in the conversation. But I really like him in a shortened up role. I think the stuff plays up. I think it's really good. Brendan Little was like shaky. Brendan Little's hard to watch sometimes, frustrating. I said to my roommate, we were watching together, I was like, you can tell without actually looking at where the pitch goes. You can tell based on his body language whether it's a ball or a strike.
Yeah.
I think that's a problem, something maybe we should clean up a little bit. But a conversation for a different day. And Chad Dallas is the headliner here, 2 3/3 innings. Best I've seen him look. A lot of fun. Hands it off to Fluharty, Seawald, Rogers, and Varland. Like the back end of this bullpen's fun, man. Good stuff.
Yeah. 30th save of the year for Louis Varland in this game of the 4-out variety. Got the last out of the 8th, got the first 2 of the 9th pretty quickly, then 2 hits, then was able to get a ground ball to get the 30th save. 13th Blue Jay in franchise history to record 30 saves. So shout out to Louis Varland.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Dallas, yeah, I'm with you. Looked very good. His sweeper, I thought, was the standout pitch here. He got 6 swings on it, 5 whiffs. So an 83% whiff rate on that sweeper in this one, which was phenomenal. Paired it with the cutter, and you would see the odd 2-seamer. Plus, his velocity was up on the season, just 1 mile per hour on this. So he's still not throwing 95 or anything like that, but Chad Dallas proved to be good and effective. His best stint in the big leagues by far. And I thought it was notable on the pitching side too. Up to 33 pitches for Spencer Miles, for a guy that they were trying to shorten up and make a little tighter here. John Schneider milked him once again for a little extended outing here.
Yeah, John Schneider does love to do that. Spencer Miles is another guy. I'm like, if the Blue Jays actually play themselves out of this and like they lose 2 or 3 to Seattle and maybe they get swept against Cleveland, it's Cleveland after that, right? I believe.
I think so. Well, Kansas City again, then Cleveland.
And then Cleveland, right? So yeah. if you play yourselves out of this, I wouldn't mind them shutting down Spencer Miles. He's just pitched so much, man. And I want him to stay healthy. I want him to get through this season, shut him down a little bit, and then give him a really strong offseason program. And like, what do you have for me next year? He's one of the most intriguing guys in the Jays system for me right now.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about him in the offseason. I think he's 3rd on the team in WAR, 3rd or 4th. Very high up there on there. Absurd. Yeah, which is kind of wild for Spencer Miles. So shout out to him. I had 2 more notes on this game. Some stuff we've been kind of monitoring all season, Owen, but Kaz Okamoto had a curveball down well below the zone that he did not challenge, and it made me get curious about Kaz Okamoto and how he really hasn't been challenging pitches while at the plate. I looked it up, Owen. He's challenged 5 pitches on the season. He's been wrong on 4 of them. And Baseball Savant has all these fancy StatCast and metrics. You know, he's had, quote, 50, quote, reasonable challenges where it maybe seemed that Kaz could make a challenge. He just simply hasn't done it. He's cost the team negative 0.8 net runs, which is equivalent for 10th of a win. His challenge rate versus a second is second worst in baseball behind Austin Riley. So worse in the American League for Kaz Okamoto. That's something going forward and into the offseason. We're playing with margins here, so it's not the reason the Jays lost the series. I get it. But it's something that if the Blue Jays want to get everything out of their players, getting Kaz Okamoto to be better challenging is one thing they should look at.
Yeah, is that 10th of a win that he's cost the Jays this season on not challenging going to put them in the wild card race again?
Of course not. But you could look at, last season came down to a wild card, right? That 10th of a win could add up. It's like you take all these small victories here and there. You know, if you do that, it can add up over the course of the season. Just something small that should be coachable. That should be quite easily fixable that the Blue Jays should look to get in. And this game too, Owen, was Jesus Sanchez's first game in left field since the debacle at the Trop. So I had all eyes on him to see this. Didn't get a single ball hit to him the whole game.
Probably for the best.
Yes, I agree. That's what I had there. Do you have a thought on anything else from this game?
No, I like winning better than losing. Felt better going to bed after this game than I did after game 1, and definitely felt better going to bed than I will tonight. Although maybe I'm actually already feeling better. Talking through it has got me more not satisfied, but more content. At least you make me feel like it's all going to be okay, Jesse, with your marginal 10th of a win like breakdowns, and I'm going to be looking for that going forward.
There you go. So when you're talking to your friends at home, so you heard that on the J Center podcast, and if you want something to feel a little better about, be like, yeah, but Kaz is getting better at challenging pitches down the stretch. So therefore, the 2027 Blue Jays are going to be okay.
Yeah, is he actually? I don't think he's getting better. I think he just kind of refuses to do it. I think it's just a choice in that he doesn't like it.
Yes, that whether that's a culture thing or whether it's coming over, he doesn't want to show up the umpire. Who knows what it is? But the Blue Jays would be a better team if he challenged more.
Yep. I think not a bad call on your end. Let's take this final break here. On the other side, we're going to break down the final game of this series. Is again the 13-2 just bludgeoning from the Kansas City Royals. And then we're going to touch on a little bit of a series preview. The Seattle Mariners are coming to town. So like always exciting to see the rival, a little ALCS 2025 rematch, even though it maybe does not feel that way based on how the two teams have played this season. But all that on the other side of this break, what we're going to talk in a second. Alrighty, back for the final segment on the J Center podcast. Owen Hill and Jesse Burrell getting through it here. Tough one to talk through, but we're doing it. We're getting through it. Jesse, can we put this just blowout to bed? 13-2, Jays lose. Do you have much for me or what?
Yeah, I don't have a lot on this game, to be honest, because I felt sick watching this as well. Yeah. I wanted to give a shout out to George Springer, who did hit a 2-run home run, just got over that wall in center field. Looked like he was sitting on the curveball from Cameron, put a good swing on it, hit it 400 and some plus feet. So good for him. First home run in a month, might I add, for George Springer. So that was nice to see. The only other real notes I had from the offense is Alejandro Kirk is hitting line drives just everywhere. Like deep fly balls to center field. He had a few lasers to right field. I think he had a hard line drive to short. Finally got a hit in his last at bat. But Alejandro Kirk is insanely locked in right now, even though the box score doesn't necessarily show that. So I saw good things from Kirk there. But on the offensive side, aside from some bad games from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Daz Cameron wasn't that good. Miles Straw hit a nice double. But other than that, I didn't see much else from this Blue Jays offense here.
Alrighty, so George Springer hit his 13th of the season. That is half as many as Kazuma Okamoto's 26, which is the team lead. Do you know what you don't even have to name the guy, but what the third best home run total is for the Toronto Blue Jays so far this season?
I know Nathan Lucas has 9, so I'm going to guess that.
Yeah, it's Nathan Lucas.
Yeah.
And Ernie Clement with 9, and then it's Jesus Sanchez and Andres Jimenez with 8. Brandon Valenzuela also in there with 8, and then Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Dalton Varsho and Alejandro Kirk all have 7.
Lovely.
So Jays have 2 people with double-digit home runs right now. They have 2 guys on 9, 3 guys on 8, 2 guys on 7 because Varsho's traded. How many finished the season with double-digit homers?
So basically you're asking if Ernie or Lucas get another one by the end of the year. I say they both get one more.
Okay. So that's 4.
I don't think Andres Jimenez hits 3 more.
2 more is all he needs.
2 more. And does Vlad hit 3? It's hard to say yes to that. It really is.
Hard to say yes to that.
Yeah.
You think Jesus Sanchez hits 2?
He's had some good at-bats lately. I kind of like what I've seen, but yeah, I'm going to give it to him. Give me 2 more for Jesus Sanchez.
You think Brandon Valenzuela hits 2?
I want to say yes because I love Brandon Valenzuela. I just don't think he's going to play enough.
Yeah, not a chance in hell. Alejandro Kirk could hit 3. Okay. You mentioned he's hitting line drives everywhere. I think he could easily hit 3 home runs in a month.
Yeah, I'd take him probably more likely than Vlad or Jesus Sanchez at this point.
Alrighty. How many Blue Jays are going to finish with 20 home runs? George Springer would need 7. Nathan Lucas would need 11. Ernie would need 11. Vlad would need 13. Like the answer is 1.
The answer is 1.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
Unless like another team gets weird and DFA's a guy that already has 20 home runs and the Blue Jays claim him. That's the only other way we're going to get a guy who's got 20 home runs here. Like,
maybe Michael Lorezen gets 1.
Like, honestly, apparently he brought his batting gloves up, and they were showing the stats on Sportsnet today that Michael Lorezen has a career 704 OPS or something, and I'm doing the math in my lineup. Like, that's adding another George Springer to this lineup. Are we sure Michael Lorezen can't hit for us? Like honestly, man. So I know it's not going to happen, but I don't know. You need offense in the worst way. Why not?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you have Arrighetti thoughts for me? Like you were high on him. I was low on him. Turns out I win this round. He sucked today. He was awful. He came out really bad.
So I'm going to do that baseball nerd thing that we've already established once. People don't really love where like the results were terrible, but I'm going to go like, actually, Owen, I think there's still a good pitcher in here. And all that is true. You can see how a good pitcher would develop in here. That curveball, he was throwing a ton, got a good bunch of swings and misses. He had a ton of strikeouts in this start. I don't have the exact number here because
4 strikeouts and 4 innings.
4 strikeouts. Yeah. So, you want to see that number a little higher there too, I suppose. But I did like the overall stuff. I do want to do a little bit of a deeper dive, and I'll probably do that after the pod. But the stuff moves so well. That curveball is legit nasty. He's got to throw more strikes. I think he had like a 30% first strike percentage in this game, which was a problem when he was there with Houston falling behind too many batters. But you can see the pieces coming together for there being a good pitcher here. It just hasn't happened yet, and I don't know if it'll happen for the rest of this season.
2 walks and 5 hits. Gave up a homer on the first batter of the game. made an error himself. It hasn't been impressive, and I'm the first impressions matter guy, and it hasn't been impressive. I know that there's a good pitcher in there. I've seen it with my own eyes. Spencer Arrighetti be a good pitcher. I've watched it before. I'm not saying I'm writing him off. I think he's a good guy to have in the org. Just like right now, it needs some work.
Yeah, I agree. I will never forget the quote that they made when the Blue Jays got him is that there's, quote, exciting stuff on the TrackMan unit. But unfortunately, Owen, games aren't won on the TrackMan unit. I wish there was, though, because the Blue Jays would probably have a pretty sick team. But unfortunately, that's not how this goes.
Yeah. Do you have thoughts on Simeon Woods Richardson getting fucking shelled? Gave up 6 runs in his inning.
Yeah, all the regression just hit him at once, right? We were saying very early on when we went through that stretch.
Are we sure that 6 runs is all of the regression? Are we sure? I'm not so sure.
I'm not so sure either. I'd have to look and see what his stats are now. But after one, not even getting through 1 inning and having 6 earned runs against him, it's probably going to make that ERA look pretty bad as a Toronto Blue Jay now. So I think that's the case. It was always going to be this way with him. With Michael Lorezen, he threw 7 pitches. That was cool. That was Chris Bassett-like, but it's hard to get excited about guys like those. Honestly, I was mostly excited about Miles Straw pitching. I thought he looked good, and I think he lowered his FIP on the season, even with giving up a massive bomb to Jack Haglione. We'll have to wait till Fangraphs updates those stats tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fun, man. Super fun stuff. Awesome. I love the Blue Jays. You got anything else here? Like Noah Cameron just dominated you.
It was nice to see some former Blue Jays. Anthony Gose is a player I'll let you know I haven't thought about in a long, long time. He looked old. I remember Anthony Gose coming up looking like this young, spry chicken. He's put some weight on. He's got some gray in his beard. It's that same Anthony Gose who was supposed to be the speedy young outfield prospect we had in the early 2010s. Just if you're trying to remember some guys, it was cool to see that guy still exists.
All right. Fun game for you. Name a season that Anthony Gose appeared for the Blue Jays as an outfielder.
Oh my God, 2021. No, 2011, sorry.
2012, 13, and 14 would have been the correct answers. Name his OPS plus. Name his highest OPS plus. Just get within the ballpark.
91.
87 was 87 in 153 plate appearances in 2013. Great player, Anthony Gose. Fun, man. That's a kid that's a guy I remember from when I was a kid. I was 8 years old in 2012. Insane that he's around as a pitcher now.
Yes, and as we mentioned about earlier in the episode about watching bad baseball teams, and I grew up watching the 2005 to the 2014 Blue Jays. A lot of bad baseball teams, a lot of 9,500 people in the Dome on a Tuesday night. So players like Anthony Gose was who a young Jesse dreamed of being superstars. I still believe Travis Snyder is going to be a superstar one day. So there is that.
Yep. I miss Travis Snyder. That's a fun pull. Good name. Devin Travis for me.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be good for a really long time.
He had his moments. Definitely did.
Yeah, he did. Too bad he couldn't stay healthy. Alrighty, let's get out of here early. Let's do this.
Yeah.
This series preview. Seattle Mariners coming to town. Are we still fighting for this wild card race at 3.5 back? Jesse, the playoff odds probably going to be below 10% when we wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, Cleveland's just been on a massive roll, so you're going to need some help from around teams across baseball, but you want to continue to play good baseball. You do have a series against Cleveland coming up, so you want to make sure you're there. You're all fired going into it. Blue Jays do have, quote unquote, their 3 best pitchers on the mound for this series with Dylan Cease, Jose Soriano, and Max Scherzer. You like your chances with that. Seattle is very much a team just like you this season. They have some good players. On paper, they should be a better team. Can't hit worse shit. So there is that. Hopefully the Blue Jays can try to win a game 0 to -1 like they've been trying to do all year and maybe come out with a series win here somehow.
Yeah, you get to face Bryce Miller, who's been fucking awful the last like month and a half, 6 weeks, around then. So you're probably good get right spot for him against this offense. You get to see the rookie Cade Anderson, who is their top pitching prospect and had a good start to his first appearance, but then kind of gave up runs late. So this Seattle team's really very similar story to you, where just massive expectations coming into the year and have just really disappointed all season. Be the better of the bad here is all I want. As much as we can have the conversation of whether we still believe that the Blue Jays, they are still in the conversation to actually make that final wild card spot. I still want them to win. And I want them to beat the Mariners. I don't like the Mariners. I think you should be better than the Mariners and would love to see them do that.
Yeah, Bryce Miller had 2 starts last week where he lost by 22 runs or more in both of them. I would love to see the Blue Jays put up a 22 spot or something like that. Yeah, there was some bad ones in there where Seattle just got destroyed, and Bryce Miller was on the losing end of both of those. So
That's
you're getting a
awesome.
pitcher where he's bad. Yeah, Cade Anderson, a lefty. Look, he's got all the talent in the world. Major leagues are hard, but he's dominated minor league hitters. That's what the Blue Jays are right now. So it's not going to surprise me one bit if Cade Anderson has a really good start here against us. Find a way to beat Emerson Hancock. You're avoiding Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Brian Wu. On paper, these should be guys you can get to. And we get to see old friend Sir Anthony Dominguez, who is now part of this bullpen. So a guy we know there.
Yeah, that's so weird. It's so weird that they traded for him when like their postseason highlight was a grand slam off of him. Anyways, that's so funny.
Yeah, so we'll see how this goes. Again, just try to find a way to get things done. Play good baseball. Do the little things because the Blue Jays need to get back to their identity. And if anything, it'll help you win games here this season. Yes, but it'll also show you, you can be positive going into next year. Just start doing the little things right again so we can believe in this Toronto Blue Jays team.
Yep. Final series before September. If we're gonna have meaningful September baseball, it would probably do you well to win this series, eh?
Yes, I agree. And pay attention on Saturday. So Friday is an Apple TV game. It's the third one we've had in the last 5 Fridays. It's bullshit. I'm already mad about it. But Saturday is the day we get Buck Martinez into the Hall of Excellence. So make sure your eyes are glued to that TV. I'm going to be very excited for that day for all things Buck Martinez.
Absolutely, man. Buck's a legend. Only Buck can save this season, I think, at this point. And hopefully next time we talk, he has done just that.
That would be amazing. Blue Jays pull like a 2007 Rockies. Don't lose a single game in September. Win on the final day. That, man, there you go. There's your message of hope coming from the end of this podcast here.
Love that. All right. Thank you for sticking with us this episode, listening all the way through. I know it's a tough one. I know season right now seems pretty bleak, but stick with it. Be positive. There's a lot to enjoy. And you probably are not going to have a lot of baseball to watch in 2027. So enjoy it while it's here. All right. So thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out Jesse and I on social media. Check out jcenter.com. And Jesse, thank you for sticking through me and talking me off the ledge here.
It's all good, my guy. Glad our therapy session went well. Let's hope the meeting on Sunday is a much better one. As you know, the Blue Jays haven't won a game on a Sunday in a month and a half. So let's hope that streak changes. Shout out Buck Martinez. Let's go out and let's have a series win here.
Yep, they're due. We're going to talk soon.